Hi everyone, welcome to Spotlight with Suman. We are back on Insta Live with one more exciting guest, and she is a certified image consultant from ICBI, a personal branding and executive presence specialist. She's a corporate trainer who has done almost 800 corporate trainings and touched almost 15,000 lives so far. She's none other than Greeshma Thampi. So, waiting for Greeshma's request to join in. Greeshma, are you around? I guess I logged in a little early. I can see a lot of people waving at me. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining in. So I've accepted Grishma's request, waiting for her to join in. Grishma, we are waiting. I can't find Grishma now once again. I think I've lost her. Grishma, are you around? Hi, Greeshma. Finally,
Yes, hi, ma'am.
some internet glitch.
Yeah, because I think the request came in twice, so it got stuck. But I'm
Okay, so
glad I'm here.
yes, absolutely. I was just talking about your workshops and the number of people that you've impacted. Almost 800 workshops and 15,000 people. That's amazing. How do you
Absolutely, ma'am.
manage? How do you manage to do so much work?
Actually, this entire experience has been so amazing because this morning I woke up and I could reflect back on the 9 years that I've been in this industry. And it was just going down memory lane. And, every experience, up, down, everything has been so beautiful. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
You're welcome, always. So my first question to you is that what has been your biggest learning during this pandemic and how has it impacted your life?
So definitely this came as a huge surprise. As you know, I was extremely busy with my trainings, traveling so much. There were months that I would take like 10 flights in a month, literally living out of a suitcase. So that was the kind of life that I had gotten used to in the past few years. So of course, this 3 months have been challenging on that front because I was used to interacting with people, traveling across the country, traveling outside the country. So I honestly miss that a lot. However, it was very important to kind of adapt to the new normal. So on the professional front, definitely I've utilized this time to upskill and reskill. So I've attended a lot of trainings that you have conducted, sir has conducted, completed my other pending topics that were there. So that was definitely one area which I'm focusing on. Second area, definitely, I think I've learned to be more disciplined because earlier you could always, put say that, oh, work's very hectic, so I've not been able to focus on this. But now that you have your time, I think it's all about how you manage your time. So I've definitely learned how to be more disciplined, maintain a schedule, and balance time for everything that you like. Beyond that, it's also given some opportunity to reflect on the business strategies, think of how I can diversify in the future. Now, accepting that things have changed, so how we can move with time. So, definitely, that's another area. On the personal front, also, it's been quite interesting. Ma'am, I don't know if you
So
know this, but I used to be.
your parents get to see more of you now?
Yeah, exactly. I hope they're enjoying that as well. So, yeah, on the personal front, I used to enjoy dancing a lot. So I was a professional dancer before. So
Oh,
I'm
wow.
going back to, yeah, so I'm putting up little videos online. So, just to keep myself engaged, working out a lot more. And I've learned to cook, something that I never knew I could do.
All of us are doing that, Grishma. I mean, we have become so innovative with cooking and baking and things like that.
Exactly.
Something productive during the lockdown.
Absolutely. And new skills. I think it's, great time to learn new skills. And yeah, so there are definitely a lot of positives.
Absolutely. So, Grishma, how are you staying relevant in this new normal and what has really worked for you during this phase?
So, ma'am, like I said, initially it obviously took some time to kind of figure out what needs to be done. But there was no point cribbing about the situation, but it was important to be agile and adapt as soon as possible. So
True.
I went through a virtual facilitation training. So that helps, find tools which can keep your online training as engaging as your classroom trainings can be. So I thought that was a great insight. Then I quickly, wrote some blogs to make it more relevant. So how you can create impact over video calls, how can you work better from home? How can you dress while you're working from home? So I wrote certain blogs and articles around this theme. So which again made it a little more relevant. Then I quickly, created the modules into shorter online trainings because in the classroom we were used to 8-hour session plans, but here we had to package the same thing into smaller trainings. So that is another area that I worked on. Then introduce some new products like one-on-one coaching for leaders on their digital presence because this becomes relevant for them, or students on how they can create, be more impactful over video for their interviews. So created some interesting things like that. So obviously it's an ongoing journey, and I'm figuring it out. And ma'am, the most interesting thing was actually conducting dining etiquette. online.
Oh, so how
Yeah.
did you
So
manage to do that?
with the demo. So I actually demoed everything. I had specifically asked for everything at home, cutlery, food, chopsticks, noodles, everything, and actually conducted it online. So that was a
Wow,
lot of fun.
great. So you have really grown up, huh? Grishma in front of me, literally. So
I
my
would
next
agree.
question to you is that I have seen you evolve over a decade.
Absolutely.
So what was Grishma 10 years before and what is Grishma today? What is the difference between the Grishma that I knew 10 years back to somebody what you've become today?
True, ma'am. Actually, you should be, telling me your observations.
I have a list of observations. I want to know from you your personal evolution, a journey of evolution.
Absolutely. So obviously, I was a young MBA who had just started her career that time, but I was very passionate about this subject, and that's how I jumped into it. So I knew I was very passionate, but I did not have like clarity about how to take this forward. The industry was new. I did not have as much experience. So it was just about taking one step at a time. First thing was applying things on myself, right? So I remember you shouting at me and telling me you have to wear brighter colors. And the same evening, I went to the market and bought myself like an orange jacket, the color that you're wearing. So you've also pushed me to get out of my comfort and, experiment. So applying a lot of things on myself, that was very important because unless I mastered it, how would I teach others? So that was
I
something that was
remember the
important.
makeup class that you people had, and it was such a disaster,
Absolutely.
especially with
And it
Vikrant
actually
doing makeup.
Absolutely. Such a fun experience. Can't believe it was 9 years back. It's also fresh in our memory even today.
Absolutely. I think it was a fantastic experience with your batch because you had all women with just one boy, poor boy,
Yes.
in the class.
Yes.
And then how he was bullied in the class, and we used to have so much fun, at that point of time.
True. But in a way, I also owe a lot of the beginning of the entire journey to Vikrant because I think as a team, we could really complement each other. And, I owe a lot to him to actually get those first few accounts as all thanks to Vikrant. So definitely it was a great partnership to begin this entire journey with.
True, true. Absolutely. You have been very active in the corporate world. So, what kind of assignments have you been undertaking? I'm sure a lot of people over here would also be very keen on knowing that what kind of work Grishma does because she's all over LinkedIn and she's so active and she's always on the move. So, what exactly are you doing? What kind of action is going on in your life?
So, ma'am, I think one positive thing that's worked well is I do come with an MBA and an HR background. So, I think that combination, along with a certified image consultant as a qualification, has really made a world of a difference. Because the minute you're interacting with corporates, your first touch point invariably would be the human resources team or the training team. So when I come with that background, and not that I have too much experience, but even those few years of experience really helps to build the required rapport. So your first step gets that much more easier, and you can understand the challenges that a company is facing or the HR team is facing because I have struggled implementing so many policies in my company, for example. So that really helps. So till date, we've trained over 85 companies. I'm really happy to
Wow.
share that. So 85 corporates, right from aviation, manufacturing, banking and finance, insurance, consulting, FMCG. So across verticals. So that's been quite interesting and across levels, right from trainee to CEO. I have trained all of them. So that's been a great
Fantastic.
journey. And in terms of signature offerings, so with the kind of experience, I thought it was very important to start creating a more niche in the area of corporate training as well. So that's why I'm focusing a lot of my energy on executive presence for leadership, how women in leadership can develop their presence more. So that's another area. Personal branding, of course, stays another area which is relevant. I'm also doing a lot of work in the luxury space. So luxury customer experience program for luxury real estate, luxury automobile, charter aviation. So that's been a very interesting work. Then personal styling for fashion retail. So that's again, very interesting area. Apart from that, your etiquette, dining etiquette, cross-cultural etiquette, communication, body language, and of course, corporate styling and grooming. So these are, the core areas that I focus on.
So you have moved into all aspects of image management. You haven't like left any stone unturned.
Yes. So I want
So
to super specialize.
do you think it's a
Yes.
good idea to identify a niche and then follow that, or you could just do anything, whatever comes your way? What is more important to you?
So again, I can answer this for myself. Personally, I want to be super specialized in the area of image management rather than, do everything possible. So if anyone thinks of image management in my circles and my network, they have to think of me. So I want that very clear differentiation in people's minds that if you want a good trainer in this space, they should think of me rather than doing everything. And I personally enjoy doing this work a lot more. So at least for the near future, I will stay focused here.
Fantastic. What are the three most essential factors that have helped you retaining corporate clients?
Interesting. So, ma'am, I think first is each assignment, I will treat it as my first training assignment. So, the same level of preparation, excitement, enthusiasm, research. So, every assignment you have to give it your all. So, I ensure that, I treat it like a fresh new assignment or my first assignment, and so that I'm able to give my best. So, that's obviously very important. Second tip would be today content is available everywhere. So every trainer can do it. The internet has it, YouTube has it. So what I feel is content is not really important. Context is very important. So I believe context over content. So that means there has to be a lot of time that as a trainer, you focus on understanding the organization. What are their challenges? Speak to the HR, get their input. Speak to the business head, understand their areas of, any areas that they are struggling with. There were projects where we got the participants also to interact before the training. So, A, you get everyone's perspective, and B, everyone, all the stakeholders become equally committed to making that training more successful. And you can make your examples, activities, content as appropriate for that audience as you can. So I spend a lot of time in customizing. So yeah, context over content for sure. And a third thing that has helped me definitely has been the ability to share the limelight. So for a lot of trainers or subject matter experts, it's all about, I know everything and I'm going to be talking to you. But in my case, you would have noticed that I'm absolutely okay with, sharing limelight. I'm not somebody who needs to be talking all the time or be the center of attention. So if you respect your participants, understand that they come with a lot of experience, allow them to shine, give them opportunities to share, their insights. I think that works well. And, the entire day just goes by, they get their learnings, and at the same time, they're extremely engaged. So I think these three things have helped me.
So there is a lot of homework before you actually take the stage, right?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. Lot of homework. So even if it's the same program, let's say I've done a pilot project in Bombay and then they have the next program in Delhi, I will still study the participant profile over LinkedIn or, speak to the business head and make it very relevant. So I think that effort really pays when you really get into understanding your people better.
How much time do you involve in understanding the client before you actually do the workshop or get into the corporate training space?
Ma'am, it could be, couple of hours of discussion also in some place, or it also depends on the kind of projects that you're doing. Because content now over the years, I have that in place, but it's all about making it relevant. So yes, it could take a couple of days at least.
And you customize content based on every organization, or you have standard content which is delivered to everybody?
No, ma'am, it has, I believe in making it relevant. So at least, let's say the concept will be same, but let's say if you're doing an activity or a role play, that will be customized and relevant to them.
Absolutely. So what kind of trends do you see in the corporate training world, and how have they changed over a decade? So you've been training since last almost 9 years now, 9 to 10 years. So what is the difference between that kind of corporate training assignments or the trend in the corporate training field or in organizations vis-a-vis what you do today? I mean, what happens today in the organization?
Absolutely. So, ma'am, you've also seen that, and I think a lot of credit goes to ICBI to bring in that awareness. So, way back in 2009, not too many people knew what image management was, and not too many people even accepted the need for image management in the corporate space. So, in my experience, what has really changed is products today cannot be massive differentiators in any industry, whether it's automobile, where company A comes up with a feature, tomorrow company B will come up with a feature. Whether it's insurance, company X has done something, company Y will do the same thing. So product as a differentiator will only bring in that much of a difference, but the brand lives because of the people. And fortunately, companies have understood that it's not just the product, but it's the service, it's the experience today that's going to make a world of a difference and leave that recall value in the minds of customers, because of intense competition, because of globalization, and of course lack of time. So every touch point, whether an employee has with internal or external customers, I think every touch point has become so relevant. One email, a face-to-face communication, a phone call. So at all touch points, how are you able to create the right impact? So I feel that awareness, that acceptance has definitely come in. And if somewhere at the beginning itself, when you showcase to the participants that this is going to benefit you and the company later, once that buy-in is there, I think it just goes off very smoothly.
So what has been, or which one has been your most memorable experience in terms of corporate assignment?
Wow, there are so many, ma'am, like so many trainings. ICBI trainings have been very interesting, and so many other trainings. But if I have to pick up one, I think I will pick up my first international assignment. So I thought, when I reflect back, that was quite an interesting experience. So this was for a company based out of Dubai. And though I was working with the company and conducting trainings for their Indian verticals, but luckily this inquiry came from LinkedIn. So they were looking for a 2-day executive presence and business etiquette session for 25 of their middle and senior management employees. So I was flown in. It was literally like a week-long vacation. So, I really enjoyed that experience. So I was flown into Dubai. We stayed at a fantastic beach resort. So it's a 2-day residential program. We had 25, all gentlemen from different nationalities. And over 2 days, we discussed, importance of executive presence, power dressing, business etiquette, cross-cultural etiquette, dining etiquette with the practical lunch as well. And it was a fantastic experience. A lot of them are still in touch over LinkedIn, and they still write to me that how much it has helped them. So definitely, I think that was a wonderful experience.
Fabulous. So I think this must be something really exciting for a lot of people to understand that how even having your presence on a social media platform is so important, and keep showcasing your work, which is very important also at the same time. So have you posted any of your international experience pictures on LinkedIn?
Absolutely, ma'am. So I am very, very thorough with my social media right from the word go. And I think Rakesh sir has really mentored us well right from the beginning, that it's your visibility and your marketing that's going to get you work. And I was fortunate way back in 2012, 2013 itself, I had gotten a lot of work through LinkedIn. So, that's one area that I focus on. And of course, there's a lot more that we can improve on social media. But definitely, I think that's a must have, because in this business of corporate training, it's all about referrals. And if people trust you or they see you as an expert in a domain, that's when your name is even going to come through. So your visibility on social media definitely is important.
Absolutely. So what inspired you to shift from a job to becoming your own boss? That is one question which I think most people who are here, who are a part of this live session would like to know that why does and when does the entrepreneurial bug bite somebody, and what happens to people when they are in their well settled job and they want to move from that job to becoming something, of their own. So what's your
Sure.
experience, Greeshma?
So, ma'am, I think somewhere that idea of being my own boss was in place, while I was doing my MBA, to be honest. So, somewhere I had that idea that I wanted to start something on my own, but I was clueless what I was going to do. So, the interesting story is that while I was researching on a particular business idea that I had way back in 2011, when I was researching on that topic, because it was related to fashion, I came onto the website of Image Consulting Business Institute. And that's when, I don't know, I still remember that moment. I remember where I was seated, what I was doing, and something just felt really right. It was that big aha moment. And, I'm not someone who takes very quick decisions, but something just felt right about that career because it was flexible, it was creative, something that I could do on my own and something that I really enjoyed doing. And then I went and attended Rakesh sir's session at Sea Princess. I remember it so clearly on a Saturday afternoon. And, I got back all the brochures, showed it to my family. I met a friend and I insisted that she should also join. And one day it took me to convince my family because, my mother felt that why would you want to leave a job and get into something like this? But my father, being like a serial entrepreneur, he's like, okay, let's give this a shot. If nothing else works, you have your education, you have your plan B, so you can always get back to a job. And literally a week later, I was in class, and it was a very easy decision to make. And I'm really thankful to you, Rakesh sir, for actually bringing this concept into India. Because whatever I am today, it's not my second career. It was not an option for me. This is me, and obviously, thanks to you that you brought this to India. I don't know what I would be doing otherwise.
So what's your parents' reaction now after almost
So
9 years?
yeah, so earlier my father was fine. He is quite supportive. But my mother, at 19, she joined a bank and she's been working throughout. She comes with a very different mindset. So earlier she was like, no, get back to a job. This is not working, all of that. And today she'll tell her friends, you can Google my daughter's name. So that is, how much she has changed. So yeah, so I think they're happy now.
Absolutely. I think all of us are proud of the fact that you're doing so well. And people
Thank
talk
you.
about you, your work, your experience, the kind of assignments that you have been taking. And we are actually giving your examples to all of our image consultants and telling them to, look at your profile on LinkedIn and, look her up whenever you need to get a dose of inspiration.
Thank
So
you, ma'am.
that's the
That
kind of
means a
thing.
lot. That
So,
means a lot.
how have you, sorry, say that again, please.
I said that means a lot coming from you. And you know that, Rakesh sir, you, Sham sir have all been so instrumental in giving that foundation, which has been so strong. And that's where, we are where we are. So thank you again.
I think the best thing about us is you all, because you bring out the best about ICBI. ICBI is all because of you. So you do well, we automatically do well. So that goes, automatic. Okay, so how have you planned your next 5 years going forward?
Yes, so this has been, something that even I've had to think about and figure out what's next. How do you kind of push this to the next level? So one area definitely is to focus on more international projects. So, it's interesting that with the lockdown, fortunately, I got to do training even in the Philippines for a pharma company. So now the world is accessible. So definitely want to do a lot more international projects. Digital, again, is a space that, we are exploring currently, and we will come up with something in that area. Executive presence is going to be a core offering and for leadership teams. So that's definitely going to be another focus area. Then luxury. So I'm sure in India, luxury is going to explode in the coming few years. And that's one space that I want to stay focused on as well.
Great. So you have your plans ready for next 5 years. Fantastic. That is how you stay focused, right?
Ma'am, it's not that easy. Of course, there are days where now, you don't know what you're doing, but it's all about, I just feel any kind of work, any kind of hard work never goes waste. So if you're working hard on something, you may not see the results immediately, but you will see it eventually. So I think it's just important to keep trying.
Absolutely. So what are the three important qualities you have that have helped you become a successful image consultant? A lot of people would like to know that.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you that also, so you can add up in case you want to that list. So, ma'am, I think the first important quality, I think it's just important to be yourself. And just like Judith focuses so much on authenticity, I feel that is such a beautiful term that Judith has put together. And if we build ourselves on our authenticity, I think everything is possible. So I remember when I started training 9 years back, fairly young, you're training people who are 20, 25 years older to you. So I used to feel that I should act unapproachable or authoritative because that is where people will take me seriously. But that doesn't work. You need to be yourself so that people can really connect with you. Then I remember this other incident where I'd gone to a startup and the HR lady was like, can you be a little more energetic? Can you be a little more enthusiastic? Because our founder is just 25 and he would really like it if you can be more enthusiastic. I said, no, I'm going to be myself because the kind and quality of work that I get for being myself, I'm not going to try and be someone else just to impress one or two people. So I think it's important, just be yourself. And that's something that I've learned over the years. Don't try to copy somebody else. Don't try to be someone else to impress one or two people. Because when you're yourself, you will attract the right kind of work and the right
Absolutely.
kind of people to work with. So that's definitely been my learning. And, like I said, I've learned it through experience. Then I feel being humble, very important, because success can come, success can go. But, being true to your roots, being humble, having gratitude for people, respect for your mentors, not forgetting what people have done for you. I think that's very important. It keeps you grounded. So respect for people, I think that would be another area. And I think knowing your worth. So it's not about being arrogant, but knowing and valuing what you bring to the table. So if somebody tells you, do this work at, half the cost, I can walk away today and say no, because my other clients are paying, the full amount because they know what value I bring to the table. So knowing your worth, but not being arrogant, that fine line, I think that has been something that's helped.
I think the last point that you said, I also remember very clearly that in the initial stage, how confused you were.
Yeah.
And you would always ask that, am I doing the right thing? Do you think I have a future? And so many questions like that. So today's Greeshma is so different from the Greeshma I knew, long time ago.
Yeah.
So that's been a drastic difference between you, of Greeshma of today vis-a-vis Greeshma, 9 years back. So that's, you've come a long way, Greeshma.
I agree, ma'am.
And it's just happened over a period of time because you didn't give up on yourself. That's something which is very important. There are a lot of people who give up on themselves and then they blame the whole world that, the world is not supporting. Whereas you have to
100.
first push yourself, push your boundaries, get out of your comfort zone. And that is something I remember that you have walked into organizations and you have said that this is what I do. And, I remember you had told me that, right? You have actually told organizations that I'm an image consultant and this is the kind of profile I have. And that is how you've got like such amazing assignments, back-to-back assignments also. So
True.
yes, you don't have to give up on yourself. The day you give up on yourself, the whole world gives up on you.
Absolutely. And ma'am, like you said, it's not easy. It's not a journey that's only upwards. There have been times, even in the past 9 years, where I've doubted whether this is right. Do I have to get back to a job? But then when you look at the year and you balance it out, there are certain months that are going to give you the kind of return that no salary in the world can give you, and the happiness and the satisfaction of impacting so many people, so many lives, leaving that impact in people's minds so many years after interacting with them. I think no job in the world can make up for it. So, I'm so glad that I found my passion early on in my life, and I'm able to live that every single day. So I'll always be thankful to that.
And I think challenges are everywhere, right? In every
Yes.
organization, in every domain, in every field, there are challenges. So it's not about you doing a job or you doing a business. It's all about how sorted you are within your mind and how do you execute things in your life.
True.
So I think that makes a hell of a difference. I mean, over a period of time, how are you evolving? How are you personally working on yourself? How much time do you invest on your personal development? All these things make a lot of difference, and that is how you shape yourself up eventually, and uh, start counting your journey of success and the years of success, in the days to come.
Absolutely. True, ma'am.
So my last question to you: what is one message you would like to give to those who are planning to make that shift from a job to becoming their own boss?
So it's not going to be easy, but it's going to be completely worthwhile. So always any image, prospective student, when they call me or they connect with me, I just ask them three questions. Are you passionate about the subject? Don't do it because it's flexible. First, ask yourself, are you passionate? Is this something that comes to you very naturally? Will you be excited about waking up in the morning and working in this area? So I feel that passion is very important if you want to be a good image consultant. Then, of course, you need patience, because just like any other business, this is going to take time for you to establish yourself. So if you have passion, patience, as well as perseverance, like ma'am you rightly said, challenges will be there, but if you are focused and adamant to make it big, I think these three qualities are very important for you to have.
Fantastic, Greeshma. And I think a lot of people have. So one lady has asked me, "Are you in this industry since last 9 years?"
Yes, I am
I
from the
think
fifth bank.
people are not able to believe it.
Yes, it's been 9 years. Unbelievable. But ma'am, today I had such a wonderful time reflecting back on all the learnings. So, even I can't believe it at times. It's been 9 years.
9 years, and I mean, I recall everything as if it all just happened yesterday.
I
Everything is
agree.
so fresh in my mind.
True.
So brilliant. I had a great time interviewing you today, Grishma, and I'm sure a lot of people have got a lot of insights and a lot of experience from your experience, because they are very curious to know what actually happens in image consulting, and do people survive as an image consultant, or they just phase out, over a period of time. So people do phase out as well when people don't, continue to do what they're supposed to do. So
Right.
yes, all the very best, Grishma. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. I had a lot of fun talking to you after a very long time. We've had this kind of interaction after a very, very long time. You've stopped coming to
Absolutely.
office. I mean, in fact, of course, during this lockdown time, nobody is actually meeting anyone. But then come over whenever the office opens, and then we'll have a long interaction like we used to have earlier. And
Absolutely.
all the very best for all your assignments, all your future endeavors, and looking forward to many more success stories coming from your side.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you, Rakesh sir, Sham sir, and ICBI for your constant support. And ma'am, it feels like I've mentioned on my Facebook, life has come a full circle. When I used to look up to you, and I used to get scared of you also way back then. And today to have this kind of rapport and relationship, and this kind of support, it really means the world. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. And for all the viewers, we'll be back again next Wednesday with yet another guest. So thank you so much for being there and being a part of this live session. All the best.
Thank you.